Hello and welcome to another edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk. I'm LaWanna Bradford, Chief Operating Officer of the Bradford Group, as well as Principal of the Bradford Group Consulting. And I am so excited because it is Women's History Month, and we have a lot of great women who are going to be sharing the stage, telling you about their brilliance and all that they're doing to be change agents in the world. And today we have none other than the amazing Miss Kearn Cherry. Kearn, how's it going?
Great. I'm excited to be here and share.
I'm so glad you said yes, because I know your schedule is very busy. So it's like, let me get her when I can.
Thank you for having me.
Well, one of the things with Women's History Month, we always have a theme. And this year's theme is providing healing and hope. And our topic today is just a perfect for that platform, because we're talking about women of the sandwich generation, a caregiving crisis. And Kearn Cherry, for those of you who don't know, maybe you hear more of the work that she's doing, the stellar work that she's doing on stage. She's known as the Butts and Seats Queen. She helps bring and spotlight speakers from all disciplines throughout the world, giving them a platform to share their voice. But the one thing you may not know about her is her passion for senior care. And she has a company called PRN Healthcare. And I want to just turn it over to you, Kearn, to tell a little bit more about how did you get into the healthcare and wellness space?
So actually, I actually have been in healthcare for 35 plus years now. So I started off as a young person. I had planned to go to engineer school, right? And then I actually was pregnant with my son in high school at the last year. So I decided nursing is something that I've always thought about doing, but just hadn't, just needed to find something that was going to be stable, that I would enjoy doing, and I could raise my son. Well, then I got married to my son's dad, and we wound up going to Germany, which can't finish school there. And then I know we were laughing earlier talking about Sierra Vista, Arizona, which is where we landed next. And being a small city that it was, there was no opportunity for me to get in because so many other people had that dream as well, over 600 plus people. And so we actually wound up, my husband and I, actually both from that point, we have spent most of our career working together after he got out of the military. And so we both left from being working as aides, nursing assistant aides, to occupational therapy field. So when we finished school in there, we came back here, and we really enjoyed working with seniors in the nursing home, helping people recover from strokes and heart attacks, all the stuff where you need major rehab afterwards. That's kind of where we were as far as our field in occupational therapy. Well, then there was a shift that happened, and one of my husband's clients, had asked us to take care of him at home. And we were like, well, at the time we were probably making triple what a family could offer us to work in their house. And so we turned that opportunity down. But I don't even think it was 2 years later, there was a major layoff across the country for all the therapists, PT, OT, and speech. And so that's when we decided we can help people better in their house. And we already had the skills, because we had the skills of working in nursing home prior to being an occupational therapist. So we decided then we were going to take care of people in the home. We've been doing it. This year is our 25th year of caring for people in their home. We also help them in the nursing home and assisted living and other places as well. So it's just where we live. A lot of people don't know that, but they see me creating conferences, coaching people on visibility and things like that. But PR and home care we've been doing for 25 years now.
I love that. And like you said, you have two amazing disciplines or talents and giftings that you're showing the world, but you're so brilliant on stage. People don't realize that you're doing some amazing work out there for our seniors. And we're this title here, Women of the Sandwich Generation. Our Gen Xers are having to care for children as well as aging parents, and it's crippling because they're having to come off the job. The cost to care for seniors in the home can be in excess of $7,000. Then you bring in other help. It's a little taxing. And in your business, do you help even coach or guide, or even when you're on stage, talk about this crisis? Because we really do have not only the pandemic, right, but then this aging of our generation, which is good, but it is causing a caregiving crisis.
Well, so I started being in, and I get frustrated because it's not that our healthcare people don't care. It's just that they're overloaded right now. There's a lot going on, y'all. COVID just added to the issue. So anyway, those are just some of the things I do that sometimes people don't realize is going on behind the scenes.
Oh, that's a lot. And I know that I've reached out to you on a couple of occasions because I have senior parents. Dad's 91, mom's 85. They still live independent, but it's like, you don't know what you don't know. This is a whole new journey for me and my brother. It's like, okay, now we are in like the parent role, right? We need to make sure they're safe and asking all the right questions. And sometimes you just don't know what to ask. I just know, okay, there's a blind spot here. Kearn, what do I do? Where am I supposed to go? So what you're doing, I just salute and commend you because it is so, so needed. And you said something really huge about the Great Migration that, our grandparents' time, it was a community around. So you knew at least a sibling, an aunt, an uncle, someone was close by. But now, like my brother and I, we live in Atlanta. My parents are in Arizona. And now I'm spending about half my time in Arizona, in Atlanta, because they want to age in place.
Right.
And we're trying to honor that as long as possible, because they said when they were healthy, we never want to move to Atlanta. That is not where we want to go. Our friends are here, our community's here. And I get that. Right.
Right.
But also we both have 2-story homes. So that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work anyway.
Exactly. That's a whole nother area. Modifying these homes. I keep telling people now, you get in a certain age, do not buy a 2-story home because you're going to realize the impact, as your knees get older and, physically you just can't climb stairs. You never know what your health condition. People in their 50s and 60s struggle with a 2-story home, right? So you can imagine your parents, you would have to adapt your house out for that, So yeah, it really has become a big issue. It started with the baby boomers and the Depression era parents. Many of them lived into their hundreds. Some of them are still living in close to 100 or over 100, right? And so that group right there is now living, and there's a lot of baby boomers, right? And so now we are dealing with a whole different crop of people who are going to need some type of in-home care and some way to get easy access to the information.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is huge. My parents are I was born in 1930, when the Great Depression started. So we're fortunate, like I said, that they're independent to a degree, right? Dad's not able to drive anymore. And I want to say publicly thank you to you, because when you and I spoke almost 4 years ago. And I remember being on the platform and asking you some questions. And you were saying, well, LaWanna, make sure that the home, even though they're fine now, make sure that the home, especially the bathroom, is retrofitted for
Yeah.
them, if they plan on staying there. And I took your advice and told my parents, do you know, 3 months after they got their bathroom redone, my dad had a mild stroke.
Oh, wow.
So it was such a relief to know it was done, that
Yes.
dad didn't have to be in, a, what do you call it?
Facility.
Yeah, a
Assisted
facility
living.
assisted living. He could stay at home. But again, it was because you were very, I want to say forceful, but you were like, LaWanna, I'm telling you, there will be a time.
Yeah.
And so, again, I just publicly say thank you so much to Kim for being my eyes when I couldn't see, and maybe even didn't want to see, right?
Right. And I think we don't want to see because it's a fear. Let's face it, the idea that our parents are getting older and we don't have the answers to it and don't even know where to start to find the answers. Fear kind of just cripples you and paralyzes you, right? And then all of a sudden it happens, and you're like, what do I do? Where do I start? And I always tell people the hospitals, they're seeing hundreds of patients. Those social workers are overloaded. And if you don't, like you said, if you don't have the questions ready to go, and same with the doctors, you're just going to feel like nobody's here for me. It's not that they're not. They just get asked by so many people. And so trying to create resources right now is really even a bigger issue because of this pandemic. Most people don't want you in their home. I take care of a lot of veterans. They don't want nobody in their home, but they need the help, right? And so it's like, so it's constantly trying to help people so that they don't have to struggle, so that they can stay home. Or, some of it's life and death situations, that if you're not in a situation that's adaptable to your situation, you could find an accident. I always say the bathroom is the most riskiest place for a senior, because if they get lightheaded, they fall, they hit the tub or the toilet or the sink, they could be gone. And if their body's self, they don't have their phone, nobody knows they're out. It's simple as that.
And even with that, I mean, you even asked me, you said, do they have life alert? So I literally, I got my parents' life alert like within 6 months of us talking. My mom is stubborn. She doesn't wear hers as she should, but my dad always has it on. And again, I'm just not thinking, because they live in a ranch. I'm like, they'll be fine. And you're like, no, LaWanna, anything can happen. They can be outside. And how do they call for help, right?
Yeah. Now I can tell you, my mom had an aneurysm outside in her garden doing something that she loved. But in aneurysms, you have minutes to take care of, to capture the time and get that person to the hospital. So everything matters. Those little bitty things that we don't always necessarily think of matters. And that's why resources at your fingertips are really critical. And so, yeah, it's the reason why I do what I do when it comes to caregiving.
Well, this is business and financial raw talk. So let's talk a little bit about the business side. For you as a business owner, you said you were celebrating, you said 25 years?
25 years. Mm-hmm.
For you, besides doing what you're passionate about, what do you think are your top 3 values that you've held to that has helped make you successful in your business?
Well, number one, create multiple streams of revenue. You have to do that. Most of us go into a business idea and we get stuck on that model. I'll give you an example. We started adult daycare called Sunrise Adult Daycare back in 1999. We already had our home care business. But what we found is that the people here did not want to leave their home. So for 2 years, it just drained my home care business. We were able to, pick up people, bring them to the facility. We did it all at an extremely low cost. So we had a nurse on board, we had activities, we had an aide, and they still did not want it. I always tell people, make sure the people want it, right? Make sure they're going to pay for it, because if they don't, I don't care how great your idea is, you will be out of business. But you have to create multiple stream of income. You have to be willing to pivot. Do not get stuck on, well, this is what I dreamed and I love it and I just got to do it. If it ain't making money, it don't make sense. You got to let it go. You got to, because it will literally, it has destroyed marriages and it has put people out on the street. And so, but if you get in, especially right now, I would highly encourage any business person to create a digital business right now. You have to have a digital form of business. Storefronts are disappearing every day in droves. Yes, people are building, but trust me, the only way they're going to really make it is with that storefront. They have a digital way for me to go online and buy from them. So I tell coaches and all speakers, all the people, you need to create a way to get a stream of income in right now. Even in our business, you have to think, what can I do that's online that allows me to make another stream of income? And so for me, I do all the events and stuff. So that is my digital side of making an income. The other thing is, I would say, as far as a business person, I would say, I should have said it's number one, pay your tithe and offering. So you need that covering. You need that covering from beginning to end. I have seen many trials and tribulations. I have seen peaks and I have seen valleys in the same 6 months. Okay, my worst year, I started off best year ever. Best year ever in our business. In less than 6 months, it became the worst year I've ever seen on record to this day. And that was 2010. And so but you have to be willing to be strong. Do not don't believe that people are just going to give you stuff, and if the opportunity comes and you see an opportunity, but nobody will let you in. And I think people hear me say this all the time. This is when you create your own. I often tell people, when one door is closed, knock on the next door. Don't stop. Do not be stopped. And if that don't work, go around back. If going around back and maybe you got some cookies and ice cream and you can see the people, but they still won't let you in, then you come back around front, you kick that door in or create your own. And that's what I've done over and over and over. My husband and I both. We do not allow somebody else to stop us from being successful. And yes, you pass that on to your kids.
I love that. And I want us to kind of unpackage this a little more. You said having multiple streams of income. And we know when success leaves clues. And when you look at all the wealth giants, or just if you're not even looking at wealth, but just having that financial independence, that peace of mind to know that you can do whatever you need to, that you can care for mom and dad and not stress out, comes from not putting all your eggs in one basket, right, Kearn?
That you absolutely. Somebody, I laugh because one of the and he's gone now. One of our managers we worked for, he saw us one day and he said, there go the cherries. He said, y'all don't let nothing stop y'all. If something isn't working, y'all create something else. And I'm like, absolutely. It is just a rule of thumb. Y'all, you don't have to start 7 different businesses, but you do need to have 7 streams of income. And now 1 or more of those must be made from online. You must figure it out. You have a gift. And that would probably be the other one I would say, LaWanna. Find your gift. You all are born with it. Proverbs 18:16 says, in summary, God has given you a gift. It's several. And so when you operate in those gifts, he will sit you at the table of great men. That is money, y'all. When you operate in your gifts, I think what happens is so many of us get on a job and we allow people to steal that from us.
Mm-hmm.
We allow it to be stolen. We go to a job 5 days a week, working more than 40 hours most of the time. And instead of coming home and say, you know what, this is my time. I can make a different dollar. And that dollar will be dependent on what God says to me. Because I'm going to make sure when he creates that door, when that door is there that he puts me in front of, I'm going to turn the knob, right?
Right.
But if you never do that because well, I'm tired. Well, you know what? One thing we got from COVID was time. Time to create your own. You have no excuse right now. Because guess what we're not doing? We ain't as I say, in the streets, running from place to place. Our meetings are online. So we have no excuse not to create an income that reliable source is from God. And
Yeah.
so, and I tell people all the time, yes, I have clients. You can call them that my bosses or whatever you want. But I know that it is because of God that I receive those clients. And so
Yeah.
that's why.
And I love everything that you're saying. And to our listening audience, we're here with the amazing Kearn Cherry, and we're talking about women of the sandwich generation, a caregiving crisis, as far as women finding themselves caring for that senior parent or parents and taking care of their children as well. But this critical message here, as we're about to close, is she's been a very successful businesswoman. And she said she's had her highs and lows, the ebbs and flows. You be in business long enough, you're gonna face your giants. But she was willing to do the work. You said be willing to pivot, so if something doesn't work, let it go. I always say learn when to cut bait, right? You gotta just don't let Moby Dick take you into the ocean with him. Cut bait, let it go, go fish in other waters. And then the digital form of business, that is so key. And if you don't know how to do it, reach out to Kearn, reach out to other people who've done it to say, do you have any programs? Can you give me some coaching, some advice? That's why we bring people on this platform. And then this is something that people don't like to talk about. We're women of faith, paying your tithe. And if you're like, well, I don't believe in the tithing thing, well, you do believe in giving. So it's a form of giving. So when you give, I think Oprah Winfrey was saying, the more you give, the more that comes back to you. It's a cycle. It's a love cycle. But you can't do it grudgingly. It's like you just want to give out not so much out of your abundance. Sometimes you don't have much to give from, but you do anyway. And lo and behold, a blessing comes, a contract comes. So, and I love what you said here. Find and operate in your gifts. Because, Kearn, I want you to talk about this. How many times do we see someone who they're rocking and rolling in one lane, but suddenly they see someone else doing something else, and they turn, leaving their lane of genius to go jump over here, and then they wonder why they don't find success?
Because number one, first of all, what God has for you, he has for you, right? A gift, you often hear, and I use athletes as an example. You often hear football players, basketball players, people of other sports. And then most of them would say, if you would just let me play, I would do it for free. That's how much they love it because it came to them naturally. It's your gift, right? And so when you are honing in on your gift, it don't feel like work. You're not miserable. But when you try to go over here, and I see this a lot going on right now on the World Wide Web, when you see somebody else and they're over there, yeah, they're successful. You know why? Because they're walking in their gifts. Look, when you walk in your gifts, it makes it seem to the other person that, oh, that's so easy. I can do that, right? But that's because they're operating in their gifts. And it appears Michael Jordan gave that example. Michael Jordan practiced. Look, he talked about how much he practiced, but at the same time, it still was his gift. He was honing his gift. So when people saw it and saw him make those layups and all those other things he did, they were like, oh, I can do that, right? Kids think that. But then they realized later on, you know what? He was gifted in that. And that's why it looks so easy, because it's his natural talent. So don't get fixated on somebody else, as one of my friends say, plate, what they have on their plate, what they have on their table. Don't worry about that. You go to God. As God says, ask and you shall receive. And I say, closed mouths don't get fed. If you ask him, and I'm going to say this out loud, when you ask, be ready, right? Don't ask and then say, oh, Lord, I wasn't ready, because that ain't the way he works.
Exactly.
When you ask, be ready for his answer, because then you have to be a steward and you have to be obedient and follow your gift. And he will open doors that you never saw. That's why people like Oprah, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, all those people, those billionaires that you see that are operating, they literally figured out their gift, right? Yes, some of them may not be of God, but shoot, there were people in the Bible that wasn't of God, but he used them anyway. And so, but their talents and gifts, they said, this is my gift. I ain't trying to be Jeff Bezos over here. That's what Oprah say. I'm Oprah. My voice is my gift, so I operate here. That's what Jeff Bezos said when he started his selling books out of his garage, right? He found that and he said, you know what? I'm gonna take this all the way up. Now he's the number one company in the world. But that's what happens when you operate in your gifts. It will feed you for a lifetime. And maybe you don't become a billionaire or a millionaire, but trust me, you'll never go hungry and you'll never be without when you operate in your natural born gifts.
This has been amazing. I want to know, I'm going to take myself down. I want to give you 1 to 2 minutes to share whatever final words you want to share with our audience. Any upcoming programs, conferences that you have that people can tune into, please share that as well. Okay.
All right. So first of all, you can find me anywhere. Kearn Cherry, Kearn Cherry. I'm on Facebook, my Clubhouse. I love Clubhouse, y'all. If you're not there, get there. LinkedIn, another favorite site of mine. I highly, especially for you that are going through this great resignation, you need to be there, because that's how you find jobs, links to things that you really want to do. I have coming up Level Up Summit. My Level Up Summit is happening this month, right? During Women's History Month. And so we have some great things coming. That conference is an international conference. It's March the 25th through the 27th. And you can go to levelup.com, levelup.com, still taking speakers. And so you can sign up to be a speaker, reach us there. Register is free. And yes, we're going to have a smaller in-person hybrid event this year because we're going to showcase our authors, and we're going to have a singing group, y'all, as well, entertainment live. And Chapel Heart is a really great group. Black women singing country music. You don't want to miss them. So you can come here live in Biloxi, Mississippi if you want to get to meet them. I also have Power Up Summit coming July the 27th through the 31st. That is a 5-day conference. Go to powerupsummit.com, powerupsummit.com, and you can register and sign up to speak, and we'll reach out to you from there. Still have Success Women's Conference, one of the largest women's conference in the nation, successwomeninternational.com, and that'll be coming in September. We had over 17,000 virtually in 2020. You definitely want to sign up for that. It is still, like I said, one of the largest in the nation. Those are just some of the things. I have my new book anthology. I'm looking for women to co-author, Undefeated. If you, well, I know you have had any wins in your life, we want you to share the secret of that win. And so it's a great anthology. It'll be a great collaboration of 100 women. Please go to undefeatedwomen.com, undefeatedwomen.com, and you can sign up there. If you want to just go and learn anything about me, it's go to Kearn Cherry.com, Kearn Cherry.com, and you can find all the information you're looking for on me as well there. So thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited, and I look forward to always connecting and collaborating with anybody who wants to team up with me.
Thank you so much, Kearn. This has been an amazing conversation, some great tips, some 5 key golden nuggets that she gave. So please take those to heart, apply them to your life, and then, be a part of some of the work that she's doing. There's a lot of great events happening, including the one that's happening this month for Women's History Month. And you can be a speaker, you can be an attendee, but just plug in. This is a woman you want to tap into. I promise you won't regret it. So again, Kearn, thank you so very much for joining us on another edition of Business and Financial Law Talk. And to our listening audience, just remember that no matter what you do, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. Until next time, stay safe and happy Women's History Month. Bye, everyone.